AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's rock!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. We are presented by Relief Windows. Not today in the Raising Cane studio. We are at Tiger Stadium in the Lawton Room where LSU, where the Stand Up for Epilepsy event will be happening tonight, all to raise awareness for the Epilepsy Alliance of Louisiana. I'll be emceeing the event, and my wife Erica and I will be part of the featured presenters tonight, telling our son Drew's story. So we're looking forward to this event, which is free. It's open to the public. Doors open at 5:30 here at the Lawton Room, and the event starts promptly at 6. So hopefully you can join us. Okay, we will get at the bottom of this hour. Muse, Paulie, and I will give you our college football takeaways from the weekend. Otter will be here for Otter Locks. Got Monday Night Football tonight, so a lot still to do here. After a crazy week around Baton Rouge, where Brian Kelly was fired, the governor made the comments he did on Wednesday. Scott Woodward summarily dismissed, but mutually agreed to part ways. Let's call it what it was. He was fired. And then you go into this weekend where we look to sort of decompress a little. You come out of it, and it's game week, and it's not just any game week. It's LSU Alabama, and you have an Alabama team that's 7-1 and ranked 4th in the country, and you have an LSU team that is reeling after firing its coach and suffering an embarrassing home loss at the hands of Texas A&M. All of the lofty preseason goals now have been taken away with your third loss. It is it's a third conference loss at that, so there's not even a chance mathematically. I guess I'd have to do the numbers. I wouldn't assume there's a chance mathematically. Certainly not a realistic chance that you could find your way back into the SEC championship game conversation. So for all intents and purposes, your preseason goals are off the table. SEC, playoff, national championship, all that stuff. So, what are you playing for? And maybe it's pride, finishing out the season the right way. For some guys, maybe it's putting out good tape for the NFL or for future NIL opportunities, either at LSU or somewhere else next year. Don't know. Hate to say it that way, but it's reality. But either way, as Frank Wilson met with reporters on Monday, he kind of gave a little bit of an encouraging point of view of this group of players.
I like us. I really do. I like our football team. I think we're a talented football team. I think we have the potential to be a good football team. And I think Saturday night will give us an opportunity to put all those things together to play what is still yet our best football, which is ahead of us.
The most newsworthy items from the press conference were an update on Whit Weeks and the left tackle situation. Whit is still questionable. By the way, Mies, can you play that one real quick? Number 9. This was Frank giving an update on what the plan. So Whit Weeks is questionable, but what they're going to do with Whit during the week?
We'll get him out there today and tomorrow. We'll get him out there tomorrow to see what he can do and kind of measure it, and we'll build it as the week goes on based on his pain tolerance.
It's worth noting that Whit did make a public appearance on Halloween with his girlfriend, Landry Kiffin, at Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital, which was awesome. They were there visiting some of the sick children, which is just a phenomenal thing to do. But in those photos, you could see he's still wearing the walking boot that he's been in now for several weeks, since before the Vanderbilt game. I don't know if Whit is going to play in this game. I'll just reiterate the thing that I told you the Friday when we were in Nashville before Vanderbilt, when he was questionable for that game. he was not going to play in that game, and he was not, at that point, going to play against A&M. It was abundantly clear based on conversations I had, and their target was to see maybe optimistically if they could get him back for this game against Alabama coming off the bye, and I don't even know that that's realistic. I think that was the optimistic point of view. It may still be weeks yet before he's back, but we'll see how it plays out this week. You would love, obviously, to go on the road in this game and have a guy that is an emotional leader for your team. He's obviously a fantastic player, but a guy that helps you get lined up is your middle linebacker, and a super talented player. But you'd love to have Whit Weeks. Remains to be seen if he'll be back. The other sort of newsy item was at left tackle, where Tyree Adams, we know, is out after having the tightrope procedure. Karius Kern, who injured his knee against Texas A&M, he is questionable in this game. It would very likely be DJ Chester starting at left tackle if Kern can't go in this football game. And because of the issues on the offensive line, it's begged this question that a lot of people have asked as to whether or not there might be a role for Michael Van Buren in this game and maybe in the final month. You know, when Frank Wilson met with reporters last week, he did say that, you know, Van Buren has a skill set and one that they would like to use and utilize, but how does that look? I don't know. And he was asked that again today, like in what way might they utilize Michael Van Buren this week and moving forward?
You know, Garrett is our starting quarterback. We do think that Michael brings some special things to the table that makes a defense have to defend him as well. And so we'll look at the opportunities that present itself to him for us. And when they present themselves, we'll take advantage of it.
You know, the interesting thing, and so Frank's being very coy, and I wouldn't expect him there to like to fully disclose like a package that they have, and we're going to use him on certain situations. It wouldn't make a lot of sense, right, for him to be forthcoming with any type of strategy there and how they might use him. But, you know, look, you gave up 7 sacks against Texas A&M, which plummeted you down to 76th in the country. But prior, like, with the 7 sacks you gave up against A&M, you've given up 16 on the year. So prior to that, you had only given up 9 all season before the 7 against Texas A&M. So all that to say, one of the things that this offense has done well is get rid of the football quickly and Garrett Nussmeier's pocket presence to avoid sacks, despite the fact that he's been battered and broken and bruised all season long. But if you feel like there is a component to the game that Michael Van Buren can add and you want to add it, it would be an interesting wrinkle to see how that might manifest this week. We know they have it. I mean, we know they have those packages. Like, we've seen it. I mean, they showed it to us when media was at practice. They ran a lot of that in the spring game when they were in goal-to-go situations. So it's all in there. I mean, there's Juwan Johnson Wildcat packages. It's in there. We know it is. It's just a matter of what they're comfortable calling in certain situations. And, you know, is this game on the road in Tuscaloosa against Alabama the situation where you want to pull your veteran quarterback and replace him, you know, with a younger guy who hasn't really played much this year? That's certainly, you know, interesting to see what decision they may make. But again, you've got a different guy now in Alex Atkins calling the plays. And that's the thing I'm going to continue to hammer all week. The running backs coach is the head coach. The play caller is an offensive lineman. Frank Wilson has told you they're going to run the ball. And even again today, he talked about the importance of, as he said it, you know, investing in the run game.
You know, I think one of the keys for victory for us is that we will have to be able to run the ball. I think it's something that you have to invest in. And you can't just talk about it and say you're going to do it. You got to do it. And I think it helps us from a passing game standpoint to be more effective. I think it helps in holistically complementing your defense as well. And I think we have talented backs that can do it. But we had not made the total commitment to running it, whether it's Harlem, whether it's Caden, throughout the game. And I thought in our last outing, we ran the ball effectively in the first half. Situation change, scenario change that we kind of abandoned and went to the pass game. You know, we're going to try to go into this game intentional on running the ball effectively.
It is something that I would love to see. And I think it is actually your best path to try to win this football game is if you do, in fact, actually make a real effort to run the football. I mean, I understand what LSU's rushing offense is, but they've only attempted 225 rushes on the entire season, y'all. Like, that's, as I'm looking at it right here, is that fourth fewest in the country if I'm looking at this statistic correctly? Like, 225 rushing attempts is an embarrassingly low number. I would love to see this offense commit to running the football. Like, by contrast, Army has run it 490 times this year. Now, I get it. They're Army. Florida State, 363. I think you look at this offense and you realize, a giant part of the reason why they are where they are and their inability to have balance is because they haven't even attempted balance. So I'm not going to sit here and purport to tell you that I know exactly how that's going to look. Like, if they go out in this game and they run it 35 times and they throw it 27 times, do they all of a sudden explode for 430 yards? I'm not telling you that's going to happen. But what I do know is what it looks like when you throw it 37 times and you run it 22 times. Because I saw that against Ole Miss. And I'm not interested in seeing that anymore. You've got to commit to balance, and it certainly sounds like with Frank and with Alex Atkins, that's the push they're making, and maybe Michael Van Buren is a part of that as well. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us here on this Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. Hey, I'm really excited about this. Today, over at Parish Construction and Roofing, we, along with several other businesses, are launching a very cool initiative that we're calling the 12 Days of Christmas. Creative, I know. But we are going to, in December, bless 12 families, less fortunate families, with a happier Christmas. We at Parish Construction and Roofing are going to give our 12 winners $1,000. Our friends at Duplessis Builders, Derek and our friends over there, have matched with another $1,000. Ruckus has pledged a shoe voucher for shoes for the family in need. And then our friends over at Chris's Specialty Foods are going to provide Christmas dinner as well for these 12 families. So the holidays are a time where you want to give back, and especially if you have the means to do so, we always encourage people to give back. And we're very proud to be able to do this. So if there's a family in need, or maybe it's yours, and you want to maybe have an opportunity to have a nicer Christmas for your family, for your children, whatever the case may be, go to parishbuilt.com. It's our website, parishbuilt.com, and just fill out the form, a little bit of information, and then we will accept nominees all throughout the month of November, and then in the first week of December, we'll award our winning families for 12 straight days at the start of December leading up toward Christmas. It's our 12 Days of Christmas over at Parish Construction and Roofing. It's not like we've done in the past, the cash giveaways and stuff like that with, people who've had inspections. This is just, if you know a family in need this holiday, we would love to bless. We're going to bless 12 families, and we're thrilled to be able to do it in partnership with Parish Construction and Roofing, with Duplessis Builders, with Ruckus, and with Chris's Specialty Foods. And so we're looking forward to it. So parishbuilt.com. You'll see the form on the homepage at parishbuilt.com. All right, we're going to knock out a quick break, come back. Should the Saints go after Kyler Murray at quarterback? Saw that earlier today. I'll give you some thoughts. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. As a matter of fact, Gordon has given back to the community in so many ways. Like we've talked about the bicycle giveaway around the holidays, the laptop giveaway around graduation. He's partnered with Pat's Coats for Kids, which Pat Shingleton from WBRZ for decades has done that promotion. Different NIL deals, and love Court to Table as well. I mean, Court to Table, Gordon's an investor there, and we'll actually be doing the show Thursday at Court to Table. I'm excited about that. Gordon will join us on site. But what a gift that has been to the Baton Rouge community, not only people who love pickleball, but just a really cool place to go. Right there in Burbank. So we'll be at Court to Table this Thursday for AFR. And of course, as we always say, if you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 30 years. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. And oh, we do shutters too.
All right, rolling along here on a Monday edition of AFR. Getting dark early. I hope the time change didn't mess with you too much. Woke up on Sunday, and it was like, Drew got up at like 8 o'clock or 8:15. I was like, what are you doing up so early? And I realized, like in his body, it's like 9:30. So it actually made a lot of sense that he was up. But anyway, hope the time change isn't messing with you too much. We're here at Tiger Stadium at the Lawton Room. Doors open here in about 11 minutes from right now. The Stand Up for Epilepsy event, raising awareness for the Epilepsy Alliance of Louisiana. I'll be emceeing tonight, and Erica's going to join me, and she's going to tell Drew's story tonight. And great organization. This event is totally free. It's open to the public, so come join us if you're hanging around campus here. And you ever been in the Lawton Room? It's a cool opportunity just to come check out the Lawton Room. We've got the national championship trophies and a lot of stuff, displays that a lot of people never get to see. So anyway, we'll look forward to the event coming up here in less than an hour from right now. The New Orleans Saints are awful. That's not news to anyone. They're 1-8. They got blown out by the Rams. Every road game they've played this year, they've lost by double digits. And this week, they get to go on the road to the Carolina Panthers, who now all of a sudden are above 500 and have matched their win total from a year ago. Maybe, just maybe, that is an illustration of the importance of consistency and not giving up on a player too early. Bryce Young threw for just over 100 yards yesterday, but they're playing winning football there in Carolina behind Dave Canales. So, if you're looking at Kellen Moore and either Rattler or Shuck and thinking flush it right now, there are tons of examples to suggest why being patient can pay off. I'm not suggesting that either of these quarterbacks are going to be great starters or that Kellen Moore is going to be a great head coach. I don't know. The jury is very much out. But I'm not removing the possibility of any of that, of either Rattler or Shuck becoming a really good starting quarterback or Kellen Moore becoming a successful head coach. But I do look around the league right now, and one of the really interesting trends are former first-round picks who have gone on to different locations later in their careers and found a lot of success, suggesting that maybe a change of scenery is a good thing, or maybe the team that drafted them gave up on them too early. Look around the league. Daniel Jones, although the Colts lost at Pittsburgh a day ago, they're at 7-2 right now. Sam Darnold, after having a fantastic season last year in Minnesota, leading them to the playoffs after J.J. McCarthy was injured, is now in Seattle, and they just pasted Washington last night on the road and looked really good. Mac Jones, for an injured Brock Purdy, has San Francisco not missing a beat. Baker Mayfield, who was the number one overall pick of Cleveland, and we know the story. Went to Carolina and then was with the Rams and has found a home in Tampa Bay where they've won the division in consecutive years and look like they're en route to do that a third consecutive year. All that to say, I think sometimes, as we're seeing now as evidence, is that a couple things can be true. Either teams give up too early on quarterbacks for lack of immediate success, or change of scenery sometimes can do a player good, which is why it was interesting when I saw Mike Florio over at Pro Football Talk today has a piece up about Kyler Murray. And some of the scuttle that he's hearing is that the Cardinals could very well be looking to move Kyler Murray. Now, the contract makes that prohibitive for this trade deadline, but as the way Florio says it, is that it seems almost like a likelihood that Kyler Murray is going to be traded. As a matter of fact, he writes, quote, an offseason trade is very realistic, if not likely. Remember, the current coach did not draft Kyler Murray. And they did not sign him. The current coach did not sign him to the extension. So you have a bad year this year. Potentially the coaching staff could pick their own quarterback, so on. So I guess, and then it caught my eye as I kept reading down. Florio notes, after the season, multiple teams will be looking for new starting quarterbacks. As of now, that list could include the Dolphins, Jets, Steelers, Browns, Raiders, Vikings, and Saints. So what would a Kyler Murray to the Saints deal look like? First of all, just start with the conversation of, would you be interested in Kyler Murray? And I think there's intrigue because of what I just mentioned. All the players that were first-round picks, even number one overall picks, that found success elsewhere. And Kyler Murray was the offensive rookie of the year and had a fantastic start to his career with Cliff Kingsbury. Was the offensive rookie of the year back in 2019. Then, of course, was the COVID year where he did make the Pro Bowl in his COVID year, started all 16 games. And then in 2021, they were 9-5. And, of course, then the injury for Kyler Murray sort of derailed his career. And after going 8-8, then 9-5, 3-8, 3-5, 8-9 a season ago, and they were really looking at this year as the season that they sort of hit that bounce back and built upon the 8-9 of a year ago. But Murray is just 2-3 in his 5 starts so far this year. And you could see a scenario where it might make sense for them to move on. And could you find and reclaim some of what worked so well early in his career? I can't help but think of Kyler Murray maybe in a similar role of Jalen Hurts a year ago in Philly, where, of course, Kellen Moore called plays for the Eagles. Stylistically, with the ability, the dynamic running ability, and, of course, the ability to throw, which Rattler is an athletic quarterback, but certainly I don't think we would argue that Rattler has the same dynamic running ability as a Jalen Hurts or of a Kyler Murray. So there's some intrigue there. And then you're talking about a guy getting into his later 20s. Kyler Murray's 28 years old right now. Could that change of scene possibly do him good? Now, I would caution that you could only start to have this conversation once you look at the contract to see if it would even make sense financially to do something like this. So Kyler Murray signed a 5-year, $230 million contract with the Cardinals. This was the extension on his rookie deal, and he's currently on this extension. So he's got 2 more years guaranteed on the contract after this year. So if you made a deal with Arizona in the offseason, hypothetically, you'd have him for 2 more years and then a team option for a 3rd year. And the cap hit, and you could always, again, if you traded for him, you could always sign him then to an extension and restructure and lessen the cap hit and do a lot of the funny math that the Saints have generally done. But he'd have a $53 million cap hit in 2026 and then a $43 million cap hit in 2027 with a $7.2 million dead cap number. So as to say, like, after 1 year, if it didn't work, you could move on, and it really wouldn't cost you much if you decide after 1 year it wasn't worth doing. So what would you be willing to give up for Kyler Murray, and what realistically do you think might be the benefit of having a player like that? Now, as I said before this season, I thought the Saints should have added a veteran quarterback to this team. I did not like going into this season without having a quarterback on your roster that had ever won a football game in the NFL. If nothing else, just have a veteran presence. And the answer, the rebuttal to that all season was, well, Kellen Moore was a quarterback and Doug Nussmeier was a quarterback. And so you have these guys that were former quarterbacks that are on staff and that work with the quarterbacks, and so they have that experience there. And I guess that's true, but I always have in my mind Drew Brees wanting a guy like Mark Brunell or Chase Daniel there on the sideline, another set of eyes to sit there and and look at the surface there, or the tablet on the sideline, another set of eyes that he trusts. And I can't help but think of the benefit that may have had, or the option to have a veteran quarterback play and let these young guys sit and watch and grow and learn. I don't know that it would have made a dramatic difference on this team with the wins and loss record, but there's certainly merit to having that veteran quarterback as an option on this team. And maybe Kyler Murray could provide that. Now, that would be a very expensive backup option if you traded for him and he had a $53 million cap hit next year. But the Saints cap does get more in line next year to where they could afford something like that if they wanted to do something like that. But I think you'd have to decide if Kyler Murray is the option that makes the most sense that you would want to build around, or would you be willing to make a $53 million investment in 1 year? A $53 million investment in 1 year that could become a longer-term deal, or is it a $53 million backup? Now, if Shuck or Rattler become your starter and they hit, then because they're both on inexpensive rookie deals, it doesn't necessarily cripple you to have an expensive backup. And we have seen that before as well. I mean, I can't help but think of a guy like Brock Purdy, where he effectively took Jimmy Garoppolo's job after Jimmy Garoppolo had led the 49ers to the Super Bowl. So it happens like that sometimes, where the draft pick, the rookie on the rookie deal. I mean, go back to Tom Brady in New England from Drew Bledsoe. I hate to reference it this way, and he'll gag if he hears me say it, but the Seahawks signed Matt Flynn to a free agent deal, then drafted Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson ended up winning that job as a rookie on a third-round deal. So it becomes more affordable to have the expensive backup player. Anyway, I guess my point with this is to say, I don't know right now if the New Orleans Saints feel very confident about Rattler or Shuck as their future moving forward. That may change in the next 8 games. Maybe it doesn't. But I also know that where you are as an organization right now is atrocious, and you can't close the door to any possibility that could make you better. And that includes drafting a quarterback in the top 5 of this April's draft, and that absolutely includes the possibility of adding a veteran like Kyler Murray if the trade compensation and the contract makes sense for you, if you think you can build around that guy. Because there are too many examples in the NFL right now of guys that were cast aside by the team that drafted them that have found new life and lots of success in their second or third, or in Baker's case, 4th location. And maybe that's the change of scenery that Kyler Murray needs to regain a lot of the success he had early in his career. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here on this Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. Always love telling you about Evermore. I got my big 64-ounce bottle of Evermore here. As a matter of fact, I didn't have any in my office today, so I pulled into a gas station on the way to work today and went right in. There was one of those kiosks of Evermore, the 32-ounce bottles, the 64 ounces. I always drink 2 of the 64-ounce bottles every day. Excuse me. I felt like a little frog in my throat. Need a sip of water anyway. It's natural artesian water. It's a healthier alternative for your family, a better form of hydration for elite athletes. You can find it at local retailers everywhere, from gas stations and grocery stores, or you can order it online at evamore.com. EVAMOR, evamore.com. All right, y'all, Otters here in 15 minutes for Otter Locks. We're glad to have you hanging out with us. Muse, Paulie, and I, after the college football weekend, give you our 3 college football takeaways. We'll do that when we continue next here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows.
AFR.
All right, now I know you did it. Don't lie, I know you did it. I mean, the temperature's got in the 40s. I know you turned on your heater. And I don't blame you, right? It's cold. You need to make sure that you stay comfortable. But I want to make sure you stay safe. And I also want to make sure that you don't get saddled with a massive expense on your heater, either with your bills or repair expenses or replacements. You got to call River City's 1 Hour Air, y'all, for your heater safety check. You should do this every year. I do. I practice what I preach. Now I'm a part of their maintenance club. And with the maintenance club, they call me twice a year for the AC tune-up and the heater safety check. And when you're part of the maintenance club, that annual service is complimentary. So River City's 1 Hour Air, they'll come out to your house, they'll check your heater to make sure it's clean, efficient, and safe to run for the cold weather months. Call them right now, 752-0001, 752-0001.
After Further Review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. And we do shutters too.
Cruising along here at the 5 o'clock hour, and glad you're with us. We're at the Lawton Room, or I should say just outside the Lawton Room. I mean, well, I guess the auditorium in the Lawton Room. We're still in the Lawton Room here in Tiger Stadium. Doors are open now. The Stand Up for Epilepsy event starts at 6 o'clock, so in 24 minutes. It is free and open to the public, so feel free to come on by here and join us at the Lawton Room. If you're around campus, hanging around campus or around town, we'd love to have you join us here for the Stand Up for Epilepsy event at the Lawton Room tonight here. Totally free and open to the public. Okay, every Monday, Muse, Paulie, and I, we watch a lot of college football. We come back here and we tell you three things. We call it college football takeaways. Hit it, Muse.
Another week in the books. What did we learn about the landscape of college football?
All right, go ahead and get us started. Everyone's looking for college football playoff dark horses. I would like to submit Michigan. Just keep an eye on the Wolverines. They're sitting there at 7-2. They've won 3 straight. Both losses are away from home. One of them at 18th ranked, or I should say at a ranked Oklahoma team, and that was week 2 of the season. Schedule's manageable at Northwestern, at Maryland. Then they get a home game against Ohio State, who they've beaten the last 4 years. A 10-2 Michigan with a win over Ohio State has a pretty compelling case for the college football playoff. Just file that away.
I'm taking a look at the Heisman race and specifically Ohio State quarterback Julian Sayin. They knocked off Penn State 38-14 to improve to 8-0 in the season. Sayin finished the game 20 of 23 for 316 passing yards. He threw for 4 touchdowns and only had 3 incompletions. He is second in the country in passes of 40-plus yards and third in the nation in total passing touchdowns at 23. He currently is the favorite to win the Heisman at plus 175.
Pitt could end up being a pretty significant spoiler. They lost earlier to 3-6 West Virginia, but Pitt has won 5 straight games now, and I'm not sitting here trying to purport that Pitt's going to do anything great, but Pitt could be a spoiler because their next 3 games are against Notre Dame, Georgia Tech, and Miami. Pitt's not going to the playoff, but they could certainly prevent someone else from going to the playoff.
Man, Jeff Lebby just keeps building over at Mississippi State. He's got them 1 win away from bowl eligibility. They've gone from 2-10, or 2 wins a year ago, to now 5 wins here in year 2. And that was a big one against Arkansas, the first conference victory for Mississippi State under Jeff Lebby. Good to see them get over the hump there because, man, you got the big non-conference win against Arizona State, and you were so close. Lost a close one to Tennessee, lost a close one to Florida, lost a close one to Texas, finally getting over the hump. It certainly seems like he has that thing headed in the right direction in Starkville.
Miami is heading in the wrong direction. They were upset by SMU 26-20. Just a few weeks ago, they looked like a lock for the college football playoffs. Now, Miami has 2 league losses with 4 games to go. They have no ranked opponents left on their schedule, which means no significant opportunity to build up their resume. Carson Beck, he has thrown 6 interceptions in the Hurricanes' 2 losses.
Interceptions for Carson Beck, you say? Stunned. How about a hat tip to Jeff Sims? You may remember the name. You may not even know that he's still playing college football. When I tell you about him, you'll remember. So Jeff Sims started his career at Georgia Tech, and then he went to Nebraska, and he just kept turning the ball over, and he could never find any type of consistency. He hasn't won a game as a starting quarterback since 2022. Well, Sam Leavitt over at Arizona State, injured, his season's over. Sims steps in for him this weekend, and all Jeff Sims did was run for 228 yards and 2 scores. That's the single game rushing record for an Arizona State quarterback, beating the previous record by 100 yards. He threw for another 177 and a score. He did turn it over 3 times, which has kind of been a problem for Jeff Sims. But the Sun Devils win in Ames against Iowa State 24-19. Hat tip to Jeff Sims. Great perseverance story and a nice moment for him on Saturday.
I'm not quite there yet with Texas as a legitimate college football playoff threat. Could they prove me wrong? Absolutely. They've won 4 straight. Arch Manning's starting to look a lot better, but you got to play Oklahoma with an extremely wounded John Mateer. You should have lost in Lexington to Kentucky, but you escaped in overtime. You survived on the road in Starkville against a very game Mississippi State squad, and you had to hold on for dear life against Vanderbilt, being shut out in the fourth quarter and what looked like it was going to be a dominant win. Now you have a bye and you go to Athens, and that is a damn near impossible place to win unless you're Alabama. At number 5, Georgia, ending the season at home against Texas A&M. You could make an argument that Texas still, even with the 4-game winning streak, might be closer to 8-4 than they are 10-2 or 9-3. I'm still in wait-and-see mode.
Did Nebraska make the wrong decision in extending Matt Rule? So on Thursday, they gave Matt Rule a 2-year extension to fend off potential interest from Rule's alma mater, Penn State. He's now guaranteed to make at least $71 million through the 2032 season. On Saturday, Nebraska lost to USC 21-17, falling to 6-3 on the season. This is Nebraska's 29th straight loss to a ranked opponent, and Rule himself has lost 19 straight, dating back to his time at Baylor.
And maybe the playoff sleeper that no one is talking about that we should be is actually San Diego State. Hear me out. And by the way, hat tip to Coach Sean Lewis. Remember, Sean Lewis left his job at Kent State to join Colorado and Coach Deion Sanders' staff. He's the guy that was demoted mid-season as the offensive coordinator in year 1. Well, he's the head coach at San Diego State, had a 3-9 season his first year as the head coach, and right now the Aztecs are 7-1. They're 4-0 in the Mountain West Conference. The only loss is at Washington State back in week 2. They've only given up 10 points one time all season. They've been actually outstanding so far in conference play. So when you look at the remaining schedule, they're at Hawaii, Boise State, San Jose State, at New Mexico. They've got a real legitimate shot of going 11-1 with their only loss being week 2 at Washington State. San Diego State, keep an eye on them as a potential G6 playoff sleeper. Okay, there you have it. That's our college football takeaways from the weekend that was. We're brought to you by our friends over at First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com, FirstSouthLand.com. Y'all know it's hunting season, and I know there's a lot of deer hunters. Y'all know I ain't one of them, but a lot of y'all are. And something else I know is a lot of y'all get sick of going to hunt on someone else's property. It always feels kind of awkward. It's someone else's land. You don't like sharing land, or other people making noise, or, can you really bag the biggest buck because should you really reserve it for the person that owns the land, or whatever the complications may be. You get rid of all that. You buy your own hunting property. Could be a great investment as well. Talk to your CPA. See if owning recreational timber property is a good write-off, a good investment property for you for tax purposes. It's First South Farm Credit. That should be your first call. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Go to FirstSouthLand.com, FirstSouthLand.com, because for more than 100 years, First South Farm Credit has done one thing: help Louisianians buy land. So if you're thinking of buying land, make your first call, First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. That's FirstSouthLand.com. All right, y'all, it is after further review, and we're glad you're hanging out with us here. It's been a busy Monday show presented by Relief Windows as Frank Wilson's getting LSU set to return to the field to take on Alabama this Saturday. The Saints get waxed. Hugh Freeze gets fired. I mean, what a time in and around the football world here as we move the calendar into November. We got one segment to go. Monday Night Football tonight. Jimmy's here for Otterlocks. The NBA's in full swing as well. We'll see what Jimmy's got for us for Otterlocks to wrap up a busy Monday edition of AFR next.
AFR.
Let's Rev. Get to letsrev.com, letsrev.com, R-E-V, letsrev.com. Our friends over at Rev, 90 years serving the local community. You want lightning fast internet speeds? You want Rev. Letsrev.com, R-E-V, letsrev.com. I practice what I preach here with Rev. Over at Guarantee Media, we are Rev customers. All of our high-speed internet, all of our access, all through Rev. Parish Construction and Roofing, our office at Parish, we are Rev customers. I am so fired up because at my home just 2 weeks ago, the crews were digging, trenching the entire neighborhood to lay fiber for the all-fiber network there in our neighborhood. And we'll certainly soon have fiber, buried fiber, lightning fast speeds, courtesy of Rev. So you should switch as well. Let'sRev.com.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. And oh, we do shutters too.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on this Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. Been a really good show. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Again, we will be stepping. We're at the Lawton Room inside of Tiger Stadium. We'll be stepping over into the main auditorium just as soon as we finish the show here to get started with the Stand for Epilepsy event, all raising awareness for the Epilepsy Alliance of Louisiana. Excited to be here. We got one thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, how are you?
Good, Matt. How about you?
Doing awesome, man. Another good weekend for Football Sunday and the crew, and looking to keep it rolling tonight. And the return of college basketball, which means the Otters heater's getting ready to start rolling.
We sure hope so. It's been good. We can start off there, Matt, and let's go to the doubleheader in Las Vegas at T-Mobile and look at the first half of that doubleheader. Florida, defending national champions. Some people think they have a roster that is even more talented than what they had last year, but it's still a championship hangover for a young coach and a lot of new players. I'm looking to go in Arizona here. I would buy it up to 4 if your mobile sportsbook or sportsbook allows you to do so. Buy that half a point, under 5 points either way. But we're looking for Arizona to be there, have a really, really close game. Maybe a pick 'em. We'll certainly take 3.5 or 4.
So I'm looking at DraftKings. You'd have to buy it to 4.5. The juice would...
it's on 4. No. See, this is the thing where they don't offer it.
Right.
I mean,
you can't buy the half point. So should I buy it to 4.5?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't do it at all. I mean, there are some out there. There's very few,
right,
that allow you to buy it on the 4. But you're seeing some of these adjustments on some of the things I like to do. So, but I know at Bet Rivers they allow us to do it. They have a scale and everything.
Okay.
BetMGM doesn't allow you to do it. Every one of their games, you got to go. You have to be in person at a BetMGM, like that for Ravage to make it. So, well, I guess we're learning early about some of the new standards, new policies for the different sports books.
Got it. Okay, so Arizona, the Wildcats, plus 3.5 is the number right now at DraftKings.
Yeah.
Buy it to 4 if you can.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Correct. And then Monday Night Football. Well, the defenses are having there's some bad defenses in the NFL. I mean, some really bad defenses. And this is on display tonight for the Dallas Cowboys. They got a lot of firepower, but man, they've got a bad defense to begin with, and they traded their best player, and they're banged up as well. So this should be a lot of points tonight. We like Jacoby Brissett and what we saw in that first game against Indianapolis. They could have easily beaten the Colts on the road. That's the game that he lost Harrison Jr. in the middle of the game and still didn't miss a beat. Just kept it rolling. He should have a field day. I also like him being able to throw the ball in rhythm better than Kyler Murray. So if you want to put a single game parlay together also, we're taking Arizona plus the 3.5 on the game. But then if you have a single game parlay boost, Arizona over and target one of the receivers for Arizona anytime TD or, over their receiving yards. Okay.
Do you like the over? I see it online. You like the over for the game as well, over 53.5?
Yes.
Okay. So Arizona plus 3.5, Cowboys, Cardinals over 53.5. Then if you want to link it up there in the parlay, take Arizona plus 3.5, the over on the game, and an anytime TD for the receivers.
I'll give you a name. Zonovan Knight to get a touchdown. Anytime TD plus 130 for the Arizona Cardinals.
All right. All right, Otter, where are you tomorrow?
We are at Mike Anderson's on Lee, just off of Nicholson for the Tuesday show. Should be fun.
Awesome, man. Well, good luck. Thanks, Otter.
All right, good luck.
All right, man, be well. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com. We're moving toward the holidays now. It'll be Thanksgiving before you know it. Maybe it's over the river and through the woods and all that stuff. If you need new tires before you get on the road for the holidays, make sure you go to Shaw Bills. Name brand tires at wholesale prices, and they treat you like family. It's Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Schedule service online, shop tires online. It's all there at ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. Okay, y'all, it's just about going to do it for us here. Muse Pauly back in studio. Thanks so much. Thanks to Cassie Spazzali producing here and teching on site for us. Appreciate it greatly. We are at LSU's Tiger Stadium, just outside the Lawton Room. If you can't make it here tonight for the Stand Up for Epilepsy event benefiting and raising awareness for the Epilepsy Alliance of Louisiana, would certainly encourage you maybe to do your due diligence, learn more about that great organization, all the many ways that they help folks. We're looking forward to the event here tonight. So y'all have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow at 3.
After further review.
As we get on down the road, remind you about Arco Power Systems, arco.com, arco.com, ARCCO, arco.com for Arco Power Systems. We deal with storms. We deal with power outages, just part of where we live. We accept that when you're going to live in the southern part of our state, but not just in South Louisiana, but all over the Gulf South. Arco Power Systems is a Generac dealer with industrial generator power. Okay, so this is not a standby generator for your home. This is for your commercial or your industrial building. So, for example, at Guarantee, we have a giant generator on the outside of our building because if power goes out, we have to be on air. What about your business? Is it an essential business? Even if it's not an essential business like a pumping station or a hospital, maybe it's a grocery store, a gas station, whatever your business is. What happens to your business if power goes out? Arco can help. ARCCO. Arco.com, arco.com for Arco Power Systems.